All right, happy Saturday, guys. Welcome. We got a nice 7-game slate to go over. So if you guys are new to the channel, how this works is we will take a look at what we know so far, review the Vegas odds, and then I'll go team by team, talk about the players I like, leave some time for questions at the end. So let's start with the beginning of the day here. Embiid, Ben Simmons questionable, also Seth Curry questionable, so 76ers could be pretty short-handed. We'll see. Again, it's against a Pistons team. They should be able to get the W. Watanabe questionable, but he just got rolled in for the Raptors. They're shorthanded. KPJ out. Avery Bradley out. We're waiting on Jay Sean Tate and Kelly Olynyk. They're both currently questionable. Could be a pretty shorthanded team once again for the Rockets. Melo out. Melo out, not a big deal. Conley still out. Let's see. A lot of the stuff is for Sunday. Pacers guys. Basically, everyone out except for Edmund Sumner, who's now in. That actually is pretty significant. Kind of makes a guy like Aaron Holiday out of play for me, assuming Sumner starts now. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Ty Jerome out. God, I hate that Thunder team. Rui will start. Big man of Mets limit. No interest there. Jeremy Grant will play. Pistons guys are playing. Plumlee in. Killian Hayes in. Not a ton of interest there on the Pistons side. And that's where we're at right now. Again, Watanabe in. I think that's all the news we got. Goat Nabe. Yeah, Goat Nabe lock. What's going on, guys? What's up? What's up, Encore? Patrick, how's it going, man? All right, so let's take a look at these Vegas odds. Yeah, Wizards, again, I thought it would be over 240. 248 over under that Wizards-Pacers game. Wizards 4.5-point favorites. Let's see. Does any other game? The Nets-Nuggets late night hammer. That should be fun to watch. A 232.5 over under. Nets 3.5-point favorites. Spurs-Blazers also over 230. So that one looks pretty interesting. Let's see. Whoops. Sorry, checking on some esports right now, seeing what's happening in this NYSL Thieves game. But all right, let's go into the team by team breakdown. And again, Westbrook, prices doesn't move, right? So it's like you guys know what to do. Westbrook against the Pacers, 250 over under. He is one of the best spun ups in the slate for sure. Okay, so NYSL 1. So yeah, love Westbrook again. Right, pretty clear play. Brad Beal at 9.6, you can definitely use as part of a game stack. You could play Westbrook and Beal together. If I'm going to do that, I'm probably running back one of the Pacers guys and just going, again, full game stack. And again, you can do it. It's a 250 over-under. So this game could be a definite shootout. Rui, no interest. The bigs, you can take shots on a guy like Gafford. Again, though, you know who his coach is, so there's just no guarantee of minutes. It's kind of Westbrook for me and Beal, and that's it. On the Pacers side, so Brogdon's still out. Domantas Sabonis at 10.5. I like his GBP play. I probably prefer a couple other stars. Give Sabonis and Jokic at almost identical price points. I think I'd give the edge to Jokic over Sabonis, but Sabonis should come in at way lower ownership. So I do think he's still viable. LeVert, again, more of a secondary option, but still in play for GPPs. He's gone for 63 and 52 two of the last 3 games. So he'll handle the ball a lot. He had 12 assists last game. So again, these top Pacers guys I like as part of a stack. Now, the value I'm probably staying away from. Aaron Holiday not really on with Edmund Sumner now back. I'm assuming Edmund Sumner starts. That should be less minutes for Holiday. Less minutes for a guy like Doug McDermott. I'm probably not going to take a shot on any of the value guys. McConnell a little bit too pricey. I'm not paying that price for O'Shea Brissett. So it's really the stars I'm looking to in this game. Detroit, Philly. On the Detroit side, I'm just crossing off this team. Jeremy Grant's in. Plumlee in. Killian Hayes in. Just have no interest in this team in an awful matchup. On the Philadelphia side, so we're waiting on Embiid, Simmons, and Seth Curry. If they're all out, then you look to Tobias Harris. Then you look to Dwight Howard. And then you maybe look to a guy like Shake Milton for value. So this is kind of wait-and-see approach. If everyone is questionables in, then I think you can look to Embiid at the top as a contrarian spin-up. Would be a little bit worried about the blowout, and that would probably be it. It would be Embiid for me, and that's it if everyone's in. If everyone is out, then you look to Tobias Harris. You look to a guy like Dwight Howard for value, even though he's not going to start. They're most likely going to start Mike Scott for some reason. And then you look to a guy like Shake Milton as well for value. So that's one we're just wait and see for Philadelphia. All right, let's see. That's 2 games up. Let's see. Do we have any more news on this? Still no news. Where are we at, guys? 200 viewers for Saturday, 30 likes. NYSL 1, yep. Good to see. If you guys could, leave a like button as you come in. That does help me out a lot. I'll get the questions here at the end. So, Memphis and Toronto. Jonas Valanciunas at 7.9K. I actually like here. I think he's going overlooked. The reason I like him, 2 of the last 3 games, 35 and 32 minutes. The one game he didn't play over 30, he fouled out in 20 minutes. Raptors team not scared of them defensively. We're good at most likely going to get over 30 minutes from JV here. So I kind of like him. I think he's going to go overlooked. If he gets 35 minutes tonight, he could go for 60. So Jonas Valanciunas also a revenge game narrative if you guys are into that. So I do like me some JV. Ja, nothing more than a tournament play. The upside is there. Consistency has not been there, though. The rest of the Memphis guys, no thank you in slow-mo. I'll pass on Brooks. Triple J probably plays about 25 minutes. I don't know if it's necessary, though, on the slate. The value from Memphis, I just don't want to deal with the headache, right? It's just, Bane was the absolute chalk last slate. He was a huge bust for myself including. It's just, there's just better value, right? I'd rather have the Toronto value. I'd rather have the Houston value. It doesn't make sense to take a shot on all these Memphis guys. Now we get to Toronto. So this is going to be kind of a headache. Van Fleet, Lowry, OG, Boucher, all out. So Pascal Siakam at the top, it looks like a pretty solid spin up. He's going to play probably 40 minutes. It's a good matchup. 70 in 2 last 3 games. Yes, I do have interest in Pascal Siakam. And then the value. So Kem Birch in the mid-range, I think is fine. I think I'd rather have some guys cheaper, though, on this slate. Gary Trent Jr., I absolutely despise playing this guy because he has a super low floor and he's not hitting his shots, but he's probably going to play 35 minutes and probably is going to be popular. So there is still a way he bust, but yeah, he's going to get a ton of shot attempts up. I think he's a good tournament play. And Malachi Flynn, assuming he starts, he has been god-awful the last 3 games. 2, 4, and 10 fantasy points. But with both guards out, I think he starts. I think he plays over 30 minutes. So assuming that is the case, I do like Malachi Flynn for value. And then you just have some gross value here in guys like Stanley Johnson, Bembry, Watanabe. These guys are all playable. If Watanabe starts, he's fine at min price. Again, I think Stanley Johnson starts, but he's been a super low usage guy. And then my guess is Bembry comes off the bench and plays like 20 to 25 minutes. They're all playable, but no one that I really feel good about. Main interest is definitely Siakam at the top, Gary Trent Jr., and Malachi Flynn. All right, OKC and Golden State. I just don't like talking about this team. You guys know that. There's viable tournament plays here, and guys like Dort if he plays, Baisley, Moses Brown has played close to 30 minutes, I think. 30 and 28 last couple of games. Don't be surprised, though, if you play him if he plays 12 minutes. Again, there's just no rhyme or reason to these rotations. Ty Jerome's out. Doesn't do much for me. If you want to take some shots in the end of the bench guys, like a Gabriel Deck, whatever that is, a Charlie Brown, you go for it. I'm not doing it. I would rather get to other value on the slate. The Thunder are still going to run like a 10, maybe 11-man rotation. Tony Bradley is at 3-4. He played 20 minutes last game. If I knew he was going to play 20 minutes, I would have some interest. But again, there's also a chance he plays 10. So there's just no rhyme or reason to these rotations. Hard to trust the Thunder guys at the moment. Moving on to Golden State, I think Steph Curry's a really good tournament play. He's going to go overlooked. The masses are going to go to Westbrook. The masses are going to go to Jokic, as I think they should. But if the Thunder can somehow keep this game close, you could see a 60 bomb from Steph. He had a 50 bomb in 3 quarters, basically. So do like me some Steph Curry for tournaments. Same thing with Draymond Green. Just a little bit worried about the blowout. Wiggins, no thanks. Bazemore, probably passed. Toscano, Anderson, Poole, Looney. Just don't want to go there. So let's move on to San Antonio and Portland real quick. Let's check to see if we have any more updates for news. Nothing yet. Okay, so Spurs, Blazers. This game looks pretty interesting. I think it's going a little bit overlooked. You could definitely stack this game for GPPs. DeMar DeRozan, 8.3K. Good matchup. Should play 35 minutes. Has a floor of the peripheral stats. I do think he's a good play, kind of in the higher mid-range that will go overlooked. He's got 50-plus fantasy point upside in a matchup like this. Also, DeJounte Murray, like him for GPPs. Not a cash game play at almost 8K, but these two should play 35-plus minutes. These are the two I feel the most confident in with the Spurs. And I mentioned Jakob Poeltl. I was like, hey, if Jakob Poeltl plays 30-plus minutes last night, we're going to get him at less than 1% ownership. If he does, he could smash. And what happened? He played 35 minutes and went for 40 fantasy points at literally no ownership. So, assuming we get similar minutes from Jakob Poeltl, there's no guarantee because you know who his coach is, Greg Popovich. But assuming we get close to 35, Poeltl's underpriced here at 5.8. So I like him if we get those minutes again. There's no guarantee, though, that we do get those minutes. Value, Keldon's just fine. He'll play 25 to 28 minutes. Lonnie Walker did start the last game. He did play over 30 minutes. I think he's an interesting contrarian value play. The masses are going to go to Toronto. The masses are going to go to Houston, assuming everyone's still out. But I think he's, again, interesting. Rudy Gay also probably plays over 20 minutes on the bench. He's a decent point per minute guy. So you got guys like Rudy and Lonnie Walker I think are interesting contrarian value plays. If you're playing a chalky lineup, and you want to make it different, and you have one value piece left, I'm okay going to a guy like Lonnie or Rudy Gay to make yourself different in those large field tournaments. All right, moving on to Portland. So Dame has been on fire recently. That's 5 straight 50-plus fantasy point games. Again, though, are you going to play him over Westbrook? Are you going to play him over Jokic? I think he looks slightly suboptimal compared to those guys, but doesn't mean he can't outscore them, right? So Dame, I've interested in for GPPs. CJ, I think, is an interesting play in the mid-range. It's been the Dame show the last 3-4 games. We know, though, CJ still got the upside. Just consistency hasn't been there with him last 5. Nurkic, I always like playing Yusuf Nurkic. He did play over 30 minutes, too. He did play over 30 minutes. Again, Portland, they need to win games, so I'm assuming they're going to kind of extend him a bit. He had a double-double with 5 assists. The thing with Nurkic I love is he just does it all, right? He'll probably get you close to double-double. He'll probably get you a couple blocks, maybe a steal. He'll probably get you an assist. And if he's going to play over 30 minutes again, he can go for 50. So Nurkic, I think, is a pretty intriguing play in the mid-range that will go overlooked, but does have some upside. Paul Covington are the secondary plays for me. Melo being out doesn't do much. Like maybe Jones Jr. or Rondé Hollis-Jefferson play a little bit more. But again, we don't have to go there on this slate. So about halfway through, guys. Let's see. Any more updates? Okay, so Triple J will start. Does it do much for me? Maybe he plays a little bit more, so maybe an interesting GPP play. Still don't love it, though. All right, so Houston and Utah. All right, so let's go over the guys that are available. Augustine 1, Jeffries 2, Lamb 3, House 4, but barely played, Brooks 5, Martin 6. And then you have Tate and Olynyk would be 7, 8. Plus you have Kyrie Thomas, who's not in the player pool, that will play again, too. So could be 9 bodies, could be 8 bodies. We'll see. Depends on Tate and Olynyk. My guess is Olynyk plays and Tate doesn't based on what we saw last game, but we'll see. So we'll start with Kelly Olynyk. If he does play, I like him as a contrarian spend up at the top. He did only play 31 minutes, but still in for 54 fantasy points. I mean, he's just an insane usage guy. Even in a tough matchup, if he plays, I have some interest in Kelly Olynyk for GPPs. Jayshawn Tate, not as much if he plays, just because the price doesn't make a ton of sense for me. And then we got to talk about the value. So KJ Martin, assuming he starts and plays like 40 minutes again, I think he's one of the better plays. 50 and 47 last couple games. I think, again, solid play, even in a bad matchup. Daniel House, no thank you, because he only played 16 minutes the last game. Amani Brooks finally had a ceiling game. I don't love it, though. He did play 34 minutes off the bench. I think he's doable for value. Anthony Lamb probably starts, probably plays over 30 minutes again. I think he's a pretty solid value play. Jaquan Jeffries is a terrible point per minute guy, but he should play over 30. I think he's a solid value. And then DJ Augustin, assuming he starts, he played almost 30 minutes. He's actually a solid point per minute guy. If he starts again, I like him a lot for value. So really, assuming they're going to have like an 8-man rotation again, almost 7 if Daniel House is out, or if Daniel House plays limited minutes, you're going to want at least a couple of these Houston value guys. Like this is where you want to go to for value. Even though it's a bad matchup, they're just going to run all big minutes. So yeah, like Houston a lot. Just keep an eye on the news. On the Utah side, so Gobert, 2 prices for me. Clarkson and Bojan are definitely in play for tournaments. Clarkson played 37 minutes last game. We haven't really seen that from him in a close game, 37. So if we're going to get close to 40 minutes from Clarkson, he's definitely someone I'm eyeing for GPPs. Bojan had almost a 50 bomb, regular points, 66 fantasy points. That will increase the ownership. If I have a feeling that he's going to be pretty popular, I am perfectly fine fading. Again, he shot 16 of 23. He's not going to do a ton of the peripheral stats. This will be a situation where people will box score watch and they'll probably chase him. I'm not saying he's a terrible play, but might be a little bit over-owned in this one. I'll pass. Again, I think it'll be a little bit too high-owned. Joe Ingles is a guy that should play, 35 minutes, a guy that will do more of the peripheral stats. Hasn't really flashed that ceiling, but I think has a little bit of a higher floor. And then Royce O'Neal is just there. Gorgeous Niang is just like 25 minutes and just fine, I guess. But that's it for the Jazz. All right, so 1 game left. We have the Nets. We have the Nuggets. Let's finish it up here. On the Brooklyn Nets, KD, Kyrie, I think we'll go a little bit lower owned. Both have 60-plus fan support upside. Again, ownership will be, I think, a little bit lower owned for both these guys. Both are going to play big minutes, so do have interest in them for GPPs. The rest of the Nets are kind of stayaways unless DeAndre Jordan starts. If DeAndre Jordan starts at the 5, which I think he might have to against Jokic, like, can they start Blake against Jokic? Can they start Claxton? Probably not. My guess is Jordan has to play a little bit more here. He got a DNP last game, but assuming he starts, we probably get somewhere around 25 minutes from him, which would make him in play, even though he's washed. Like I always say, he can get you close to a double-double, maybe block a shot or two. So Jordan, if he starts, do some mention for value, but that's really it for the Nets. And finally, the Denver Nuggets, a team I like. Jokic, one of the best spin-ups in the slate, in my opinion. Should play 35-plus minutes. This is just one of the best possible matchups against the Brooklyn Nets. So love me some Jokic here at 10-9. MPJ definitely in play for GPP. Should play big minutes as well. Camposo I like in the mid-range. Should play about 35. 8 boards, 9 assists last game. Again, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. I like that. Aaron Gordon, really just some more out there for his defense. Don't have a ton of interest there. Rivers is fine off the bench. Probably gets 25 to 30. Paul Millsap, if he starts again, I like him for value. Should play about 25 minutes. A decent point per minute guy. Jamaica Green off the bench. Probably gets over 20 minutes. A viable contrarian tournament play. And then JaVale McGee is going to play the backup 5. Probably plays about 12 to 14 minutes. Is a phenomenal point per minute guy. But unless something happens to Jokic, it's hard to get to him on this 7-game slate. So that is where I'm at, guys, for the team-by-team breakdown. Got about 15 minutes left for some questions. So let's see. Do we have any more news? Grizzlies, Dylan Brooks, Slow-Mo, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Jonas Valanciunas. Okay. So, leave some questions in the chat, guys. Let's get into it. We are at over 300 viewers for a Saturday. That is great. 70-plus likes, too. Let's try to reach 100 before the end of the show. All right. So, should we lock in Westbrook and Jokic? I think they're two of the better spin-ups in the slate. So, you don't have to lock them in, but I think they look really good in this one. Westbrook, Gary Trent, DeMar DeRozan, Kenny Martin, Pirtle, Augustine, Lamb, and Birch thoughts. It's a little bit contrarian since you only have really one spin-up in Westbrook. Birch, I don't love the price on in this one. But like I could see that working out. Is it optimal Westbrook, Jokic, and value? That's probably leaning towards the optimal build, but the Washington Indiana stack I like a lot for GPPs. Like, you can run Sabonis instead of Jokic. You can run like a Kyrie instead of Jokic. You can run. There are other good spin ups. Hill if Simmons is out. Hill. Oh, George Hill. I would probably look to Shake Milton. Top fade, I'll just say Steph Curry, even though he's not going to be super high owned, just because I'm worried about the blowout. Are we leaning stars and scrubs tonight? I think that's the lean at the moment, yeah. Worried about Millsap minutes on back-to-back? Not really, just because Denver doesn't have a ton of options. I think we'll get about 25 minutes from Millsap. Favorite center play for today, DK? It's Jokic for me. Highest owned guy to fail? Maybe Siakam at 9K? Patty Mills for value? Nope. LeVert or Siakam for GPP? I'll go LeVert. I think Siakam's going to be a little more popular. LeVert's going to be unowned. Beal or Durant? Durant for me. Are you worried about getting popped tonight? I'm always worried about getting popped. If I target any Spur, I'm always worried about getting popped. 8.6 for LeVert or 8.5 for DeRozan. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think they're both pretty good plays. With no Brogdon, I might lean LeVert in this matchup. I think LeVert is a good tournament play. He's going to go unowned. Now, I don't love the price at over 9K, but he can still have a big game. So, shooting guard for 4,200 or under. It's probably going to be one of the Houston guys. Let's see. So 4,200 and under. I think you can consider a guy Shake Milton if those 76ers guys are out. I think Austin Rivers is definitely playable. Lonnie Walker is playable, but I think you settle on DeQuan Jeffries if everyone for Houston's out again. Like, he should play over 30 minutes. Opinion on Siakam tonight? I think he's a solid spend up. Not my first spend up in, but he's going to add the offense to himself. He's been playing phenomenal recently. Does still have a little bit of a low floor, but do have interest in him. I think he is solid play. Aaron Holiday, now that Sumner's in, I'll pass on that. Build around Russ and Jokic. I think that's leaning towards the optimal. Yeah, Curry's 26% owned. Okay, yes, I'm perfectly fine getting away from that. Can you fade Westbrook tonight? You can. I won't be doing it. Stack Jokic and Westbrook. Again, I think that looks optimal. But the optimal build doesn't always work out. So any interest in Triple J? A little bit for tournaments since he's starting. Maybe he plays a little bit more. What are you considering play both? Yeah, I think that's probably the optimal way to go in this one. Game is the best value, Houston, just because they're going to be really shorthanded most likely. Thoughts on KD? He'll be low owned. He's one of those contrarian spin-ups I like. Right? I really do think the ownership is going to flock to Westbrook and Jokic. There's a lot of good contrarian spin-ups, though. Like, I think KD, Kyrie, LeVert, Sabonis, those guys are all going to be low owned. Play any Sixers if everyone's in. The only guy I would consider would be Embiid. Kyrie and Jokic or Westbrook and Sabonis. Give me Westbrook and Sabonis there. Augustine or Bembry. It's Augustine for me, assuming he starts again. Do you prefer Triple J over Kenny Martin Jr. on DK? Right now it's Kenny Martin Jr., assuming that it's going to be basically 7-man rotation again for the Rockets. Flynn or Houston guards. It kind of depends. Depends how many like you should get Houston exposure. So like it depends how many Houston guys you have. If you have no Houston exposure, get a Houston guard in. If you have like 2 or 3 Houston guys, then you can go Malachi Flynn. Are 3 Rockets a good amount? That's perfectly fine with me. Augustine or Brooks is Augustine. Bertans or Valley, not with Rui in. Valanciunas or Olynyk. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think if Kelly Olynyk plays, I think he has a little bit more upside, but that's close. Kyrie or Durant? Give me Durant there. Small forward for cash. I think it's, let's see. Well, it depends what price range you're looking at. I think you can play KD in cash. I think you can play DeRozan in cash at the top. But then you're probably looking to maybe a Gary Trent Jr. Even though I hate playing him in cash games, he's going to play big minutes and get a ton of shot attempts up. And then it's really just the value guys, right? You have like Lamb. Let's see. Are there any, like whatever Rockets are there? Maybe one of the Raptors guys if they start. Thoughts on Bertans? Not for me on this one. Wow. Thrifty Nickel with another big super chat. $50, man. Thank you so much. Favorite animal. Thanks for the content. Favorite animal, definitely dog. Definitely dog. I've been a dog person my whole life. Yeah. Had 3 dogs growing up. Not, 3 at once, but like 3 total. And looking to get one for sure. Probably in the next couple of years. So, yeah. Appreciate the support, man. Again, not necessary at all, but yeah. Wow. That's a big W. W's in the chat. Appreciate it again, man. Thank you so much. Super chat crane coming. Thoughts? Let's see. Thoughts on Michael Mulder over Malachi Flynn for deep? No, thank you. I would rather go Malachi Flynn. Westbrook, Clarkson, Johnson, Triple J, Looney, Flynn. Yeah, I'm guessing that's Stanley Johnson. I don't know if it's necessary in this one. Tell us your animal. Dogs. Dogs, yeah. For sure, dogs. Yeah. Thoughts? Golden Retrievers, especially. Golden Retrievers are my fave. Thoughts on Westbrook, Gary Trent Jr., Harris if Embiid and Simmons are out. KJ Martin, Howard if Embiid's out. Augustine, Lamb, LeVert. Okay, yeah. So, like, the 76ers guys, like, I would definitely have some interest. Everyone that's questionable is out. Watanabe in play. If he starts at min price, he's viable. DeRozan or Gary Trent. If price doesn't matter, obviously DeRozan. Taking price into consideration, it might be a slight lean to Gary Trent, even though I hate playing him. So, yo, DK, you run any models or just hand build? Yeah, I only build one lineup. I don't really look at anything. Kind of old-fashioned, right? But, yeah, I ignore all, like, any tools out there or projections or anything like that. 6.4K Martin or 5.3K Triple J. It depends what happens with the Houston guys, but I think it's still a slight lean to Martin. Tori with the $5 super chat. Thank you. Westbrook, Lonnie Walker, Slow-Mo, Millsap, Jokic, Flynn, Martin, DJ. We'll swap from Lonnie to Jeffries if Rockets guys are out. Okay, I was going to say, that's okay, Slow-Mo, 6'1", it just feels a little bit pricey. He only played 24 the last game. Triple J starting. I don't love the slow-mo play. Everything else looks pretty good to me. I just don't love the slow-mo play. Augustine or Brooks? For me, it's Augustine if he starts. Even though Brooks had the big game last game, I think Augustine I trust him more, plus he's cheaper. Westbrook, Shake Milton, Bembry, Martin, Jokic, Augustine, Lamb, and Tobias. Okay. Only if Embiid sits. So I don't think I play Milton unless Ben Simmons sits too, and Seth Curry. Like, I think I need all those guys to be out. Wayne Ellington, not for me with the Pistons guys out. Follow you on Twitter too. Great stuff, by the way. Thank you, man. Pirtle or Birch? For me, it's Pirtle there. Westbrook, Roll Neto, Gary Trent, Gafford, Augustine, Aaron Gordon, Martin. Might be a little bit too contrarian. What's Neto's price? I wasn't really considering him. I mean, you can go this part of a game stack. That's all right. Aaron Gordon, I mean, he'll be low owned. He's just been bad, man. He's just not been good. Bertans or Clark. I honestly don't want to play either. Bertans played more because Rui's out the last game. I guess it would be Bertans, though, just because it's a 250 over-under. Sabonis, Bembry, Watanabe, Jokic. It's probably Watanabe, Jokic. Old-fashioned, I hear you started using models and I've been in slump for 125. Yeah, I feel you. Olynyk or Siakam? I think the safer play is probably Siakam. I think he plays more. You like Lonnie Walker tonight? I think he's a fine contrarian value play off of some of the chalk. Like he's not an optimal play, but if he starts again, Slow-Mo burned me last night as the last man in. Yeah, it just a price came up plus Triple J starting. He might lose some minutes. Patrick Bush with the $5 super chat as well, man. Thank you. Good luck today. Thank you so much, man. 4,700 for Ford. Let's take a look at 4,700 and Ford. Again, appreciate all your support as always. So, I'm not really looking at Jeff Green's no. So Keldon Johnson, not really. Not looking to Sekou. Royce is fine. It's probably Anthony Lamb for me at 4,100. Assuming all those guys are out for Houston again, because look at the minutes, right? 36 and 35. He's not like a phenomenal point per minute guy, but like that's probably where I go. Like Royce is still playable, but I think it's Anthony Lamb for me and leave a little bit of money on the table. Triple J over Slow-Mo. I would rather have Triple J over Slow-Mo for the discount for sure. Sabonis or Lillard. Sabonis. Yeah, I haven't seen anything of Triple J in limits, and he did play, 25 the last game. I think with him starting, he's interesting tournament play. I do. I do have a little bit more interest in Triple J now that he's starting, so yeah, I think he's in consideration. Brissett for viable, probably not. One more body two in the rotation. Yeah, he's only played 24 last couple games. I'm probably off that. Trent or Bojan? I'll take Trent for the discount. Power forward option under 4K. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Again, it's probably going to be whatever Houston guys are available here. So, are there even any Houston guys power forward? No. So, it's probably Millsap. Millsap, assuming he starts. You can look to Rudy Gay as contrarian value play. But, yeah, one of those two guys, or you go to Watanabe if he starts at the flat min. Again, like the Toronto guys are not great point per minute guys, but they should play some decent minutes. So, that's where it'd be at. Probably Millsap at the moment. Bazemore a little bit. I mean, he can still have a good game, but I'm not looking to him in this one. Canola, yeah, I think Campozo looks pretty solid. I do. Thoughts on J-Val with Triple J starting? I don't know if it affects him too much. Maybe a slight usage downgrade, but if we're still going to get like over 30 minutes from JV, I think he's interesting. Both Millsap and Jokic, I think you can do it because Millsap's so cheap. Thoughts on DeRozan? I like DeRozan. I think he goes overlooked in this one. Austin Rivers is playable. I think he gets 25 to 30 minutes in an up-tempo game. Russ, Jeffries, Lamb, KJ, JV, Augustine, Yuta, Jokic. Okay, yeah, I think that's a pretty good build for now. I have Lamb already. Okay, you already have Lamb and 4,700. So if you already have Lamb, then I guess it's Royce, right? Like, I don't want to play house limited. I'm not really looking to. You can play McDermott, but I think he loses a little bit of minutes with Sumner back. I don't like playing Royce O'Neal, but like he probably plays over 30 minutes. I don't know. That's a tough one. It might be a rebuild there. It might be a rebuild. I think you're putting yourself in a bad spot if you already have Lamb. Like, there's no one that stands out here. Like, you could leave like a lot of money on the table, go Gay or Millsap, but I don't think that's necessary. So maybe that's a rebuild one then. Because I don't really want to play Royce tonight. I don't. How many Rockets for cash? Depends on the news, but probably I would say at least one or two. Ty Jerome out, Kenrich Williams in play only if Kenrich starts. He's got a DNP last couple games, so if he doesn't start, I'm worried he gets a DNP again. Thoughts on Frank Jackson? I'm kind of avoiding the Pistons guys. 4 Houston guys, too many. Not if it's going to be basically 7-man rotation. That's fine. Value shooting guard. I don't want to play Jeffries. Okay, so what other range? Again, like Sumner and Holiday, I'm just a little bit worried about their minutes now with Sumner back. You can go Lonnie Walker. I think that's fine if he starts again. He did play over 30 minutes. The issue with Lonnie is he's kind of score independent too. So, like, that's probably... I mean, if Kenrich, like, starts, I would have some interest in him. But, again, he's gotten a DNP the last couple games. Rivers or Lonnie for the last spot in. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty similar, right? I think they're pretty similar plays. Maybe Rivers, but that's not a strong take. I think it's basically a coin flip for me. Freddie Gillespie, I just don't think it's necessary. How many minutes did he play last game? He's just not playing a ton. 15 to 17. I mean, you're using a center spot, which is pretty valuable in this one. Best 5K center. Well, there's nothing I love. I'll say that. You can go Blake Griffin if he starts. If not, you can take a shot at Moses Brown, who has played close to 30 in back-to-back games, but there's also a risk he plays 12 minutes, so there's nothing that really stands out in that range. JaVale Nurkic or Siakam and Nurkic? Siakam and Nurkic is definitely safer. Thoughts on Jeffries? I think definitely a guy that we can look to for value, assuming everyone's out for Houston again. Embiid likely sits. I'm not sure. Westbrook, Campazzo, Lamb, Martin, Jokic, Augustine, Millsap, and Trent. Okay, I think that looks pretty solid to me. Simmons, Curry, not going through pregame routine, most likely out. Okay, so that will obviously change some things, right? If Ben Simmons and Seth Curry are out, then we have some Philadelphia value we got to look to. Let's see. Do we have updated that? No, but yeah. So that's pretty big, right? Because if those two are out, then we consider some guards. Then like Shake Milton at 4-2. I know he hasn't been great, but like he becomes playable. The rest of the guys I just don't really trust, and guys like Maxey, Thibault, and George Hill, right? Like the issue I have still is like Doc Rivers will probably just extend their rotation and everyone plays like 20 to 25 minutes. So, but if Embiid is out too, then you're looking to Tobias Harris, right? Then Tobias Harris becomes one of the best plays of the slate if Embiid sits too, along with Ben Simmons and Seth Curry. So just keep an eye on the Philly news, right? That will change some things for sure. Shake Milton, shooting guard. Yeah, especially if all those guys are out. Hit that like button, guys. It would hit over 100. Thank you. A couple more minutes left. Fave Sixers, if all are out, it would be Dwight Howard and Tobias Harris. Dwight Howard would most likely not start, but he would play probably about 25 minutes, and he is too cheap at 4K if he plays 25 minutes. So it would be Dwight and it would be Tobias Harris, the first two guys in for me if everyone that is questionable is out for Philly. Tori with the $5 super chat. Okay, so you got Westbrook, Gary Trent, Lamb, Martin, Jokic, Flynn, Keldon, and DJ. Yeah, I guess the only issue I have is Keldon. Like, it doesn't stand out as an amazing play. Like, it's an okay last piece in. Should play 25 to 28 minutes. It's just like he's so up and down that I never feel good about it. So that's the one guy I don't love, but it's a tricky range, right? There's not a lot there. I appreciate the super chat as always, though. Sumner or McDermott? Probably McDermott, just because I'm worried about Sumner injuring his. He played the previous 3 games he played. He left all due to injury. So Shake, Bembry, or Jeffries. Shake, Milton, and Bembry, or Jeffries and Yuta with Tobias. It depends on what happens with the rest of the set. Okay, so Ben Simmons out, Curry out. Okay, so we'll close on this. Do we have Embiid news yet? Whoa. What the? All right, come on now. Oh, it's randomly just zoomed in. Let's see. All right, so let's go to Fantasy Labs. Okay, so Ben Simmons out and Seth Curry out. So now we're just waiting on the starting lineup plus Embiid. Raptors are starting Malachi Flynn at the point guard. So with him starting at point, I think he's a pretty safe play. Malachi Flynn, that is. Gary Trent Jr. too. Watanabe in the starting lineup. He's fine for value at min price. Toronto's going to be thin. So you can make an argument for any of the starters. And then with the 76ers, we're just waiting on that news. But keep an eye on who starts. Joel Embiid will start. Okay. That just makes it so difficult. Why? So with Philly, I still think there's no must. Because what I'm worried about here is Embiid is still going to eat up all that usage. Tobias is solid, but not a priority with Embiid in. And then with the value, like Doc Rivers, what he's probably going to do is he's going to play Danny Green, Shake Milton, Thibault, Maxey, George Hill, Mike Scott. These guys all probably play somewhere in the 20 to 25 minute range, and maybe no standout plays. So that is the worry. I don't think there's a must value here for the 76ers. That's my concern. That is my concern with Embiid in, is that everyone just plays like 20 to 25 minutes. So Maxey is starting though. Okay, so that does change some things. With Maxey starting, Green, Tobias, Thibault, and Embiid. Thibault starting too. Okay, so let's talk about Thibault. He's a not good point per minute guy, more out there for his defense. With him starting, we probably get 25 to 30 fair value. Maxey, with him starting, I have more interest in Maxey now. He's a decent point per guy. With him starting, I think we probably get 25-ish minutes, 25 to 30. The worry is they still have George Hill. They still have Shake Milton. Right? They still have guys that can use. So he's not going to come out and play massive minutes. But now with him starting 3-4, I have some interest in Tyrese Maxey. All right, that is it, guys, because I got to go stream for Patreon. So good luck to you. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'll be back here tomorrow as always, and I'll see you guys then. Thank you to everyone that super chatted as well. Greatly, greatly appreciated.